What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So I'm doing an progress update for Dark Dimension 4 because it's been about a month and a half since I did my video talking about who I was gearing up for Dark Dimension 4, my plans, who I was going for, why I was going for them, and things have changed considerably since then. I'm about halfway through the cosmic nodes in Dark Dimension 4 right now. I have everybody geared up for my city portion, and I'm still working my way through legendary. So I want to talk about who I've kind of changed my mind on and some mistakes I've made along the way in terms of wasting resources on terrible characters that just kind of sunk resources that were really needed for some of my progression I just couldn't afford. So let's start with who I originally wanted to use. My plan was for Mystic, I wanted to use, actually I'm just going to pull it up for each different one and we can just go through it each one individually. So my global nodes basically went as planned. Emma Frost, Baron Zemo, Ghost, and Mr. Sinister. Those are the four I originally wanted to go for. I wasn't big on going for Black Widow and Captain America because those were going to use, at least the bio for Captain America was going to be needed for my symbiotes I was going to use for City. So I was never big on Captain America, and it seems now the conventional wisdom is that you really shouldn't go for Captain America because while he is great, the amount of bio resources you have to throw into him is a huge drain for those symbiotes, which make City a whole lot easier for you. So I've always ignored Cap. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stuck with the four I originally had. Emma and Mr. Sinister, it took a while to get those going because those are both mutant characters. And that took a while before I could finally get those four global characters ready to go. Once I did, though, I really went through the nodes no problem until we got to that bugged node 6. When I got to that, that's when we had the issue where you had double the Black Bolts and they had super high resistance. They were just murdering everybody. I spent like a week trying to get through that. I was basically running into a brick wall. Eventually they fixed that. I got reset, and then the next day I one-shot it. So yeah, with those four characters, it wasn't really a problem. I will have to say, though, it wasn't technically a one-shot because when they reset the node, they didn't reset the cooldowns on my characters. So it was technically a two-shot, but I mean, let me see. That's node 5. Yeah, so I one-shot nodes 4 and 5 with that team, and node 6 I had to basically reset my cooldowns. Baron Zemo's ultimate wasn't off cooldown. Emma had nothing off cooldown. Ghost had nothing off cooldown. It was bad. So I had to go in, waste an attack to reset their cooldowns, and once I did, it was easy. I cloned Captain America and Nick Fury endlessly. I had Cap just popping his taunt all the time, feeding ability energy directly into Nick, and then he was using that to give offense up and defense up and speed up to the entire team. It was great. It wasn't really any problem. It took like an hour to get through the node, but it wasn't really any problem. Global was super easy. So yeah, I really have no regrets with who I went for on the global nodes. I'm very happy with my selection there. I don't think I would change anything in the terms of that if I had to go back and do it. For Cosmic, this is where things got a little interesting. So Thanos, Proxima, and Minerva were always three of my options, and I did those, have no problems. Here's where things get a little interesting. I went for Long Shot because I started to look at my resources and I realized that I wasn't going to be able, I can't remember who I wanted to go for originally. I think I wanted to go for Corvus, but I wasn't really getting a lot of skill. And yeah, some of my changes and plans have come due to like shortages of certain uniques that I don't have. I have plenty of bio uniques. I got plenty of the bio uniques I got a whole lot of. Tech uniques, I actually got plenty of those as well. I haven't really had any problems with those. I've had severe shortages in mutant and mystic uniques, and that has forced me to kind of change things around. And I am so glad I did not try to go for Hela, because if I had, I'd still be waiting for Cosmic right now. I went for Long Shot as my fourth instead of Corvus, and honestly, it's not that bad. The one drawback is if you don't have Hela, these nodes get very difficult. Cosmic is notoriously difficult so far. Everybody I've talked to who's done DD4 has said the Cosmic nodes are a pain, and that is very easily mitigated by going for Hela, but the reason I didn't go for Hela is because of her gear pieces. All 5 of them that aren't her unique gear piece require uniques. They all require mystic uniques, and if I had been waiting still, I would just not have enough. I need 90 of each of these uniques to get her up to tier 15. I just don't have them. I mean, I went for Ebony Maw first because, I mean, it's Ebony Maw. I was going to use him in Dark Dimension. I used an Arena team. I went for Ebony Maw first, and I'd still be waiting on Hela to this day if I had decided to chase her instead of other characters. So yeah, the Mystic nodes, the Mystic uniques, severe shortage of them for me. I just can't. I really can't. So I had to divert there, and I went over to Longshot, and I put gear up on him. So now he's at tier 15, and eventually my plan is once I do my first clear of tier 14 or DD4, I'm gonna finish taking Shatterstar up to tier 15. I'm gonna use that dynamic duo with Thanos, Proxima, and Minerva, and hopefully my timed run is gonna be much better. But yeah, Cosmic has been a huge pain, and it's the way that the nodes are. It's based on who's got the ultimates they're always popping. And the first node for this, you have an Emma and you have a Strife always using their ultimates, so you always have at least 2 people ability blocked. You're always getting dispels, blinds, and mind control attacks in on that first wave. You have a Magneto in there as well, so he's gonna open up with a ultimate that blinds everybody on your team. It's a mess. That first Cosmic node, I hated it. And I can see that there's people who one-shot it, but some of these, I mean, you can see people use Mordo and Hela. That was one other thing someone recommended, but pretty much everybody here is using Hela, and I just can't. I couldn't afford the Mystic Uniques to take Hela up and yeah, it's just, I couldn't do it. So I had to, I'm having to basically crawl my way through this. If you get a plethora of Mystic Uniques and you can take Hela up to tier 15, that's going to make it a whole lot easier for you in these timed runs. But now I'm slowly working my way through this. I'm almost done with the second wave on mission 8. I've got a Venom and a Carnage who are always using their ults. That first wave had a Rocket Raccoon that was always using a special, a Vision that was always using his ultimate. Oh man, and then 2 Star-Lords. It was a pain. Yeah, now there's Falcons I'm dealing with. It's slow going, and eventually I'll get through it. But yeah, Cosmic's gonna take me a while, which is basically, yeah, I'm having to deal with that now. I'm having to accept that. It sucks, but hey, hopefully we can get through without too much of a problem. We got like a Red Skull and some Hydra minions here, and a Baron Zemo. That Baron Zemo is gonna be crazy. I bet he's gonna use his ultimate every turn, which is gonna be great. I can't wait for that. But yeah, a lot of heal block in these teams, so Minerva is really great for that because her ultimate's gonna bypass the heal block. Yeah, Cosmic's gonna take me another week or 2 to get through, probably. It's gonna be a long grind for that one, and then I can get to City and finish off those. And speaking of City, this is where my City roster is at. So originally, when I did up my roster for City, I had Symbiote Spider-Man, Anti-Venom, Carnage, and Ghost Rider. Now, I've already mentioned the Mystic Unique short. Basically, I had to just divert from Ghost Rider. Unfortunately, I took him to tier 14 by then, which means I dumped a bunch of SBCs onto him that I shouldn't have, which now means that I am really short on SBCs for other characters. And instead of doing Carnage, I did Scream. Now, the reason I did this was I actually talked to someone who's one of the first people to complete DD4. I'm not going to mention him by name, because he doesn't want like have people like messaging him or anything. But yeah, he reached out to me right after I did my first DD4 video, and he told me that he actually did Scream instead of Carnage for one reason, that Scream was a lot cheaper. Scream only needs 2 sets of bio uniques. Carnage needs 3. So it's a bit cheaper to take Scream up. And since I'm already doing 3 symbiotes, it's a lot of bio uniques to throw on those 3 characters. I'm using Invisible Woman at the same time. She also uses bio. So it was a nice little idea to use Scream instead of Carnage here. We'll see how it pays off in the City nodes when we get to them eventually. And then another thing that I did was I did Punisher. Now, the reason I did Punisher was twofold. Number one, when I had to shift things around, I decided to not do Corvus. I had sunk skill gear onto Zemo and Proxima. And then when I was doing the math and realized that Corvus wasn't going to be as good an idea as someone like Longshot or Shatterstar, I decided to switch that skill gear over to Punisher. But also Punisher, if you look at it, when he's going up to tier 15, it doesn't show now, but he actually uses purple gear, which was kind of crazy. He only uses 2 sets of skill uniques. He has a purple item here as well. He's not hard to take up to tier 15. Now, another reason I decided to go for him was because of the Skilletary team. We all know how that team turned out. But honestly, he does some good damage. He's one of the top characters in terms of the damage rankings anyways. Health leaves something to be desired, but you can position him so he's on one of the outside edges so he doesn't take as much damage. But yeah, I mean, that plus his buffs here, you know, city heroes gain additional damage against villain targets. So you know Symbiote Spider-Man is gonna have some is gonna be able to do some really solid damage with that, as he's a city hero. So, and also Anti-Venom is a city hero as well. So both those characters will do more damage. Scream is a villain, so won't get the damage bonus. But yeah, Punisher with those three, I think that's fine. If I had the Mystic Uniques to use, I'd take Ghost Rider. Other people I talked to said Ghost Rider actually works really well with the symbiotes there in DD4. So it's kind of come down to what do I have for uniques and how quickly do I want to push through. I'm still not going to put tier 15 on characters I deem not worth it. Like, if you go back to Cosmic, I've actually seen people use Thor with, put tier 15 on Thor. The one bad thing about Thor is that if you put that on him, you have to use him with Hela. Because if you don't use him with Hela in DD4, Thor doesn't really do anything. And while Thor is great with the Wave 1 Avengers now, I just didn't want to do that for him, especially when I have other characters I can be putting that Mystic gear on. I just didn't want to do it. So Mystic has been kind of a shortfall for me, and one I've had to really kind of plan around. And in terms of my legendary, Ebony Maw, Doc, Invisible Woman, and Phoenix, those are the ones I'm still going for. This is pretty much all I have left to go for on gear for DD4. I have one piece left to go for Doc, one left to go for Invisible Woman, two left to go for Phoenix, and once I finish up these RTAs, I will have pretty much almost all the uniques needed to finish off these characters, except for Phoenix. I'm still going to be about 5 or 10 short on one of her unique pieces, but yeah, I'll have the gas cans through the RTA Battle Pass for Doc. I know I call them gas cans. They look like little gas cans. I'll be just about done with the rainbow pieces on Invisible Woman as well, so I'll be close to getting her finished. And then Phoenix is going to take me a little bit longer, but I think in the long run, my big drawback is going to be these SBCs. And this is my big problem. This is where I'm suffering right now, because I took characters up to tier 14 with the idea of taking the DD4, realized I had screwed up, and I just, yeah, I messed up there. So that is my big drawback right now is SBCs. And if I hadn't sunk them into characters like Ghost Rider, I did Magneto for DD4. I don't know why I tried Magneto for DD4, but that was a waste of resources as well. Yeah, some of these I shouldn't have done. Yelena, because I wanted to see if Skill Military would deliver. Again, we know how that went. Ultimus, I did for RTA, which was a waste of resources as well. As I go through here, I realized I did some really bad ones. I decided to take up Cap because I had him at tier 13. I had him halfway to 14. I was like, why not? Wish I hadn't done that. Same with Black Widow. Those are both SBCs I could have saved for my legendary characters. I could be very close to finishing off my gearing right now, but I'm still about 1,000 SBCs short on my characters, and that's going to be a long grind. Yeah, it's going to be a while before I get those SBCs. So it's I could do the hidden offers and spend about $200 and get all those SBCs right now, but I kind of want to wait and see what things are, see how long my progress goes. If I run into a hard gate where I'm still like a week or two out from starting the legendary nodes and I'm done with all the way through city, maybe I'll whale out then on those SBCs, but we'll see. But yeah, I just kind of want to give an update to where I am on DD4, some changes I've had, because I know people were asking about it, and one person said that they were actually kind of following my plans. So I kind of want to give an update to where I'm at on my character for DD4, and just let you guys know what I've experienced so far, my experiences with everything in the DD4 node so far, Cosmic, and that freaking roadblock of difficulty that it is. But yeah, I just want to give you guys an update on that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, and you guys have any questions, make sure to ask down below in the comment section. Make sure to hit that like button, share this video, and also subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys next time.